Afternoon, good people. Afternoon. What it do? What it do? What it do? What's happening? What is happening? Baby, look here. Let me tell y'all something. Y'all got one of the coolest, funniest, ain't I ain't lying. I was just listening to myself from last night. Going on. Hey, Janet, about folk not paying attention, baby. When I tell you I am over here laughing at myself saying, Lord. Baby. Is that what I be put? Baby, tell the truth, shame the devil, baby. I bar none. Hey, Cynthia. Yeah, I was tickled. And I'm kind of tickled right now. Because, baby, when I tell you, he trying hard. He know his days is numbered. Things ain't going his way. I know they thought that the Democrats was ussy. You know, I've never understood that. I mean, now that I said it, I don't understand why when people, men and stuff, be arguing. let me get some of this hydration. Mango citrus. I don't know why when they be arguing, one of the first things they say is they call another cat a ussy. Or say he weak as ussy. Shit. And I be saying, but y'all can get strung out behind it. Or sometimes y'all be trying to take somebody out because of that thing. So is it really weak? I mean, I don't know. But is it weak? Yeah, I be wanting to ask. I mean, how does that make sense? It seemed awfully strong and powerful to me. Hell, if it wasn't for that cat, we wouldn't have sin. We wouldn't be here either. But there would be no sin if that cat wasn't strong. You understand? Well, let me get on back to what I was talking about, So they over there, they got this man. He can't talk. He can't understand. That's them. They hitting him, stripping him, all of that. Good. He needs to humble himself before God. Yeah, that's another thing I don't like. I don't like when folks say you need to be humble to who? I almost told y'all something. Yeah, real life. Yeah, you want me to bow down to somebody on earth? Is that what you want me to do? No. You want to God say humble? You talking about unto him. Not unto another trifling person, because we all are wretch undone. But carry on, AunTeaFee. I'm just saying. Yeah. He needs to humble himself before God. Because he see London Bridge is falling down. It's going to rain on his head. All of that. You playing with God, sir. I told you yesterday, the prayers of the righteous availeth much. And now we know you playing with God? Playing in our face trying to play with God? Oh, yeah, no. Strike it down, Lord. Strike it down. Right now. In the name of Jesus. We will not play with God. And you will not rewrite the Bible. So listen. Listen to
The
this.
Supreme Court has sent shockwaves through Washington and across the presidency itself. In a ruling that will be studied for generations, the justices have drawn a decisive line through the idea of unchecked executive power,
Unchecked.
declaring that no president, past or present, stands above the law.
What?
Hey everyone, welcome to Reportment.
He can't
If
do
you
what
are
he
new
want to
here,
do and get
hit
away
the
with it.
subscribe button and smash the like button. The case centered on one fundamental question.
One?
Can a former president claim absolute immunity for criminal prosecution for acts committed while...
Wasn't that Jack Smith? Wasn't that Jack Smith who said he got something that's gonna spin that head around? Wasn't that Jack Smith? Yeah. Yeah, that was Jack Smith. He said he gonna spin your head around like the Exorcist. You want to play the devil? We gonna spin that head around. Let's go.
while in office? The court's answer was clear and historic. No. The ruling
Let's go. The ruling what? I'm sorry.
dismantles the notion that presidential authority extends beyond accountability, striking at the heart of what some legal scholars had called an imperial presidency. A landmark decision from the Supreme Court has sent shockwaves through Washington and across the presidency itself. In a ruling that will be studied for generations, the justices have drawn a decisive line through the idea of unchecked executive power, declaring that no president, past or present, stands above the law. Hey everyone, welcome to Reportment. If you are new here, hit the subscribe button and smash the like button.
And hit
The
AunTeaFee
case centered on one fundamental question. Can a former president claim absolute immunity for criminal prosecution for acts committed while in office? The court's answer was clear and historic. No.
Of course not.
The ruling dismantles the notion that presidential authority extends beyond accountability, striking at the heart of what some legal scholars had called an imperial presidency. A landmark decision from the Supreme Court has sent shockwaves through Washington and across the presidency itself. In a ruling that will be studied for generations,
today
the
is a
justices
good
have
day.
drawn a decisive line through the idea of unchecked executive power, declaring that no...
Today is a good day. What else is going on TV? Oh, ain't that good? Oh, ain't that good? Yeah, so while you sitting up there planning, breaking the law, saying I don't have to follow the instructions, I'm exempt, I can do whatever I want to do. Do you not know who I am? Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. I am Donald J. Trump. What are they gonna do? Oh, okay. They just made it absolutely clear. You are going to be impeached. You are going to go to jail soon and very soon. They lining your ass up the same way you was lining the U.S. citizens up. Karma coming for you, DT. It's coming for you real soon. What's up next on the agenda? Oh, just in case you didn't know, tariffs are
this next song that I'm doing
taxes,
is actually coming out
and
soon,
you are
so
not the
I hope you all
tax
enjoy
man.
it. It's called Crash.
In our lifetimes, these
You are in for a rude awakening.
Who would even care about my book racks on?
They are arranging to arraign you soon. Them Epstein files gonna be the death of you. Now your greed will be the death of you. Let's hear what he said. I love him too. Let's go.
a much bigger Democratic they could. Well, last night, Donald Trump went from being a lame duck to being a humiliated duck. When
Ooh.
voters from coast to coast turned out to vote against Donald Trump and his candidates and his policies in every place and in every way that they could.
Everywhere.
Donald Trump's explanation today for the Republican wipeout last night is that Donald Trump was not on the ballot. That's what he says. The conservative Wall Street Journal editorial board has written a reply to that under the headline, Trump really was on the ballot. The Journal editorial says Mr. Trump was on the ballot, not literally, but nonetheless, as the main motivating force behind a dominating Democratic turnout, winning Democratic candidates for governor in New Jersey and Virginia.
You force
linked
people to
their
get up off their
opponents to
butts
Mr.
and vote.
Trump, driving Democratic voters to the polls and erasing the GOP gains in 2024 among Hispanics, black men, and independents. The result was a much bigger Democratic triumph than polls predicted. The tsunami was big enough. The Democrats were able to pick up 13 seats in the Virginia House of Delegates. They'll have 64 seats out of 100, which could give Democrats the chance to redistrict next year to gain congressional seats. And in California, where not a single name was on the ballot,
It wasn't no,
voters stood
it wasn't no name on the ballot. They voted for a ghost. Huh? They voted for a ghost? Just to take votes away for the Republicans? Ooh, how embarrassing. They voted for Casper. Do you understand that, Donnie boy? They voted for nobody instead of voting for your party. That's bad. I don't think I've ever heard of that. That's just how piss poor of a job. Don't say piss. That's gonna make you have to pee on yourself. Don't say piss poor. Your bladder ain't working too well. That's how much of a piss poor ass. What can I say? Shitty. Can I say that's just how much of a shitty job? I can't say shitty either. You gonna make you use the restroom on yourself? Oh well, damn. You need to just go sit down somewhere. Yeah, you can't stop from peeing on yourself, shitting on yourself. Hell, what good are you? Leave you alone. You mad? Okay. Well, okay. Well, you know, they voted for nobody rather than voting for whatever you represent. That's bad, shitty D. That's bad.
voters stood in long lines to deliver 63% support for Democratic Governor Gavin Newsom's proposal for congressional redistricting in California that could add 4 or 5 seats for the Democrats to the House of Representatives and win control of the House of Representatives for the Democrats in next year's election. Every one of those California votes for that proposition was a vote against Donald Trump. Every one of them.
Absolutely.
The reason no previous president has ever considered pursuing any of the policies Donald Trump has pursued this year is that those policies are obviously politically suicidal. And now we have the proof of that. And Donald Trump's bright idea today, during his politically suicidal government shutdown, is to partially shut down the air traffic control system in this country, with the Thanksgiving travel surge approaching. Every day, Donald Trump finds a new way to weaken himself and weaken his party politically while making life in this country worse for millions of Americans. And now he wants to make it much worse for the millions of Americans who hope to go home for Thanksgiving this year. With less than a year into his presidency this time, Donald Trump is now the lamest of lame ducks ever to occupy the presidency.
Lamest
And
of the lame.
sinking with him is the lamest group of Republican members of the House and Senate that the country has ever seen. The election returns last night indicate that a year from now, Democrats will win back control of the House of Representatives, and Donald Trump's administration and his incompetent cabinet members will be subject to real investigations of their personal profiteering from government, real investigations of possible abuse of their office, real investigations of an FBI director who uses a government plane for date night. Democratic control of the House of Representatives means that most of the Trump madness can be stopped and in its tracks. And Donald Trump knows that. And so Donald Trump is living in fear tonight.
Shitting on
Just
himself.
how bad election night is going to be for him next year. And just 12 hours after Donald Trump's electoral humiliation last night, in the United States Supreme Court this morning, Donald Trump was humiliated again.
Again?
In the Supreme Court, including the justices who Donald Trump appointed, ripped apart
Ripped?
the biggest and stupidest policy lie of the Trump second term. At 11:22 a.m., when Neil Katyal rose to address the Supreme
Ripped? Did you say ripped?
Court, the first sentence he spoke contained only 3 words:
Dumbass.
tariffs are taxes. And there it was, the pure economic truth and policy truth about tariffs that the founders of this government knew, and that every president has known and every member of Congress has known until Donald Trump started lying about tariffs. The Trump tariff,
Say that for me one more time.
and that every president has known and every member of, there it was, the pure economic truth and policy truth,
No more lies.
and only 3 words: tariffs are taxes. And there it was, the pure economic truth and policy truth about tariffs that the founders of this government knew, and that every president has known and every member of Congress has known until Donald Trump started lying about tariffs.
Just
The
lying.
Trump tariff enforcers were seated in the front row at the Supreme Court today. Why? To try to intimidate the Supreme Court? The always goofy Howard Lutnick,
So they tried to stare the Supreme Court down like we gonna sit here in front of you and give you the mean eyes and grunting and shit like somebody gonna run scared and gonna not say the truth. So they on the front row trying to intimidate. I won't be there. Trump said I won't be there, but my enforcers will. Hitting their hand, hitting their fist in their hand. Like, soon as you walk out, what? Is that what was going on?
the most incompetent Commerce Secretary in history, who is always the loudest laugh at every Trump joke,
Oh my
was
goodness.
there in the front row, bringing into the room a mind smaller than the smallest mind on the Supreme Court, and sitting beside him.
I can't
was
believe
to
they tried to.
intimidate the Supreme Court. The always goofy Howard Lutnick in the front row at the Supreme Court today. Why? To try to intimidate the Supreme Court? The always goofy Howard Lutnick,
I am
the most
shocked.
incompetent Commerce Secretary in history, who is always the loudest laugh at every Trump joke, was there in the front row, bringing into the room a mind smaller than the smallest mind on the Supreme Court. And sitting beside him was the Secretary of the Treasury. In our lifetimes, the Secretary of the Treasury has never attended a Supreme Court.
You mean the same Secretary of Treasury who be letting him take money and shit and line his own pockets? The same Secretary of State who be letting him steal and shit to funnel money to extra money to Israel, the fake, the 1948 Israel. You mean the same Secretary of State who is helping them funnel and traffic kids and shit? You lying to me? Well, guess what? I guess they needed to be there so that they can hear out their good ear that they ain't exempt either. And they're going to be just like the last cabinet, up for charges, going to prison. Just like the other cabinet, doing everything that old I can't hold my pee ass Trump told them to do. Yeah. They need to hear it. Let's go.
Secretary of the Treasury has never attended a Supreme Court hearing. The last Secretary of the Treasury known to have attended a Supreme
Stop.
Court hearing was the first Secretary of the Treasury, Alexander Hamilton. But that was in 1796. Hamilton attended
1796.
a Supreme Court hearing only when he was a former
1796. That was, and he trying to pull a stunt like that in 2025?
Secretary of the Treasury, the year that he attended that hearing. And so, it is entirely possible that no currently serving Secretary of the Treasury has ever attended a Supreme Court hearing until the relentlessly ineffectual Scott Bessent, who appears to believe that the most important thing about being a Treasury Secretary is dressing the part, while being willing to say the most ridiculously false things ever said about tariffs by a Treasury Secretary. Donald Trump himself had been threatening to attend the Supreme Court hearing, presumably as some kind of intimidation tactic. But he chose in the end to send his completely unintimidating court jesters instead. Donald Trump's lawyer, arguing in favor of his illegal and unconstitutional tariffs today, had a much more difficult time than the Trump tariff enablers do when they appear in very friendly TV interviews that they submit to. The Treasury Secretary and the Commerce Secretary have an open invitation to come on this program and discuss tariffs for the full hour or any amount of time that they choose.
Hungry root makes.
Oh, yeah, I need for y'all to hit the like button. What we doing? Double tap the face of your screen and get the likes up. Do you not know how to double tap the face of your screen?
Everything's still.
Do I need to show you how to do that? What are we doing?
But they haven't shown up.
Huh? Do I need to show you how to double tap? Just bam, bam, just like that on the face of your screen. Or hit them three dots at the top right and hit the like button. What are we doing? I done been over here for like 24 minutes. Almost 200 people in here. Hit the like button, please. Before I hand you a Donald Trump's diaper with all that shit. Ha! Let's go.
Today, they had to sit there silently
Sit there.
when Neil Katyal said tariffs are taxes.
Tariffs of taxes.
And they had to sit there silently for all 2 hours and 40 minutes in which Donald Trump's lawyer never said that tariffs are not taxes. He didn't try to make that impossible point. It was simply an accepted fact of the case by all of the justices. Tariffs are taxes. 3 minutes after Neil Katyal's first sentence saying tariffs are taxes, the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court said, quote, "The tariffs are a tax," end quote.
Period.
That is how fully accepted that fact was during this argument. Chief Justice Roberts said, yes, sure, the tariffs are a tax, and that's a core power.
Get off of it.
Of Congress. Yes, sure. Not a single Supreme Court justice disagreed with the Chief or Neil Katyal about that. Tariffs are taxes is the single shortest sentence that exposes the lie of the Trump tariffs, which Donald Trump has claimed are paid by foreign countries.
Lies.
Donald Trump's lawyer, the Solicitor General, didn't dare try to tell that lie to the Supreme Court today. Donald Trump's lawyer could not refute one word of Neil Katyal's exquisite opening 4 sentences in his brilliant argument today.
Tariffs are taxes. They take dollars from Americans' pockets and deposit them in the U.S. Treasury.
In the U.S. Treasury, where he is controlling.
Yet here the president bypassed Congress and imposed one of the largest tax increases in our lifetimes.
Dollars from Americans' pockets.
And y'all want me to believe that Donald Trump didn't know that.
Has imposed one of the largest tax increases in our lifetimes by stealing a power
Stealing.
the founders explicitly gave to Congress alone. Not one word of that was disputed in any way before the Supreme Court about that. Tariffs are taxes is the single shortest sentence. Not a single Supreme Court justice disagreed with the chief or Neil Katyal about that. Tariffs are taxes is the
Jenny said, if you don't want that shitty diaper.
that exposes the lie of the Trump tariffs, which Donald Trump has claimed are paid by foreign countries.
Lies.
Donald Trump's lawyer, the Solicitor General, didn't dare try to tell that lie to the Supreme Court today. Donald Trump's lawyer could not refute one word of Neil Katyal's exquisite opening 4 sentences in his brilliant argument today.
Tariffs are taxes. They take dollars from Americans' pockets and deposit them in the U.S. Treasury. Our founders gave that taxing power to Congress alone. Yet here the president bypassed Congress and imposed one of the largest tax increases in our lifetimes.
Dollars from Americans' pockets.
Absolutely.
This is what Donald Trump has done. He has imposed one of the largest tax increases in our lifetimes by stealing a power that the founders explicitly gave to Congress alone. Not one word of that was disputed in any way before the Supreme Court today. Chief Justice Roberts made it very clear who pays the Trump tariffs in his first questions to Donald Trump's Solicitor General. Chief Justice Roberts said this about the Trump tariffs, quote, "The vehicle is imposition of taxes on Americans, and that has always been the core power of Congress." The Supreme Court has spoken. Americans pay the Trump tariffs. Justice Sotomayor interrupted Donald Trump's Solicitor General early in his argument with a line a lawyer never wants to hear from a Supreme Court justice.
What is it? What was it?
"I just don't understand this argument."
Yeah, don't make sense.
Welcome to AccuTrack.
Don't make sense.
We are a leading
What you here
fulfillment
for?
service with printing and
What is
logistics
this
under
about?
one roof. We print
Is
on
this
demand
about the
based on-
Epstein files?
I just
Is this about the Epstein files? Cause this shit right here don't make no sense. Why are you wasting our time? Can I say it for her, y'all? I want to say it for her. Yeah. Why y'all wasting our time? We had our feet kicked up and we was eating lunch. And you brought us in here for this shit? Oh, let her do it. Okay.
don't understand this argument. It's not an article. It's a congressional power, not a presidential power to tax. And you want to say tariffs are not taxes, but that's exactly what they are. It's argument. It's not an article. I just don't understand this argument. It's not an article. It's a congressional power, not a presidential power to tax. And you want to say tariffs are not taxes, but that's exactly what they are. They're generating money from American citizens, revenue. And you say it's incidental to the regulatory purpose. But I don't see how a quota is equivalent to revenue raising. A quota sets a limit to what you can import in, but it doesn't generate revenue.
Dumbass.
There were no sharp disagreements.
I mean, and so this just yesterday I told y'all that they were double taxing us. I mean, I thought I would say it in a way that would make us understand. Yeah, we gonna have to pay that. And it ain't like the foreign country is imposing it. Our own president, who is supposed to make deals in our best interests. But I think he getting it back. I'm thinking they gonna cut him a check. Yeah, I think the deal is to make the U.S. pay for it. Y'all buy into my coins. Yeah, so we can do away with money. Right, and so my coins will be a part of the New World Order. Yeah, since the Rockefellers is who's over the Federal Reserve. So how we gonna set it up in this New World Order is that Trump's coin is going to be the currency. So yes, he wants to do away with the federal government, cause in the New World Order, in his mind, it's gonna be Trump, Bibi Netanyahu, and Qatar. They whole little boy club. Yeah. And then it'll be a dictatorship in China. That was the plan. So that little treasury guy, that looked like one of Happy Days friends. I can't think of the one he favor, but he looked like one of them. Richie, some damn body. Yeah, that's their plan. That's why he pardoned the crypto guy. Because they have a plan with the New World Order. Since the banks turned on him with all those fraudulent accounts, stealing money, Epstein still getting paid because he's still working in whatever foreign country that he has protective custody. Yeah, so the plan got derailed. You know good and damn well it was a tax. You just getting paid on the back end and the front end. You just stealing from everybody. You greedy dog.
Among the justices, not a single justice disagreed with Justice Sotomayor's statement that tariffs are paid by American citizens. The Solicitor General tried to argue that a federal
And then you taking folk jobs, they not getting paid. You cutting off food, you cutting off insurance and shit. And then you want us to pay taxes in the US and then tax on the back end with foreign policies and foreign trades. But I showed my tea sippers about a month ago a little article from Bibi Netanyahu. We gonna sue you. Yeah, the little man that went to school in Philly and in New York. Yeah, that one. He ain't went to school in Israel because it was built in 1948. He was in the States, the United States. He got a social security number. He even got a fake bogus name. And it's not Milanowski. We talking about an American name. You know, like Jimmy Zimmerman or something. Yeah. He has baby. Yeah. We have caught him speaking English without the heavy ass tongue. Y'all see do y'all understand what's really going on? He plays soccer in the U.S. in Philly high school. What? Yeah, y'all better wake up. They playing in our face. They were planning the takeover. I've been trying to tell the tea sippers. I showed them a long time ago, about a month and a half ago, where he said that BB, yeah, he said that he was going to leave the United States broke. We will be a country of welfare. The whole country. Red, blue, left, right. That was his plan 20, 30 years ago. We got to wake up. Stop thinking it's just about left or right, red and blue. It's about breaking you.
An emergency authority to regulate some aspects of international trade, gives justice disagreed with Justice Sotomayor's statement that tariffs are paid by American citizens. The Solicitor General tried to argue that a federal
It's in
law
crypto coins.
gives the president an emergency authority to regulate some aspects of international trade, gives Donald Trump unlimited power to impose tariffs. Justice Sotomayor pointed out that Congress never uses the word regulate to mean tax. And Neil Katyal made this point about the word regulate.
The word regulate is words regulate importation. The word regulate has never been used. The Congress has used the term 1,499 times. We got about that number of hits when we looked at it, and maybe there's some double counting, but it is never used even once to impose taxes or revenue raising.
The Trump-appointed Supreme Court Justice Neil Gorsuch showed how a newly invented presidential tariff power could become a nightmare scenario for Republicans.
Could the president impose a 50% tariff on gas-powered cars and auto parts to deal with the unusual and extraordinary threat from abroad of climate change?
It's very likely that could be done. That's very likely.
I think that has to be the logic of your view.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yes.
that is the logic.
That's the
of
logic.
his view. That is exactly what the Trump argument is. And in her final comments to the
50% tariff on gas-powered cars and auto parts to deal with the unusual and extraordinary threat from abroad of climate change.
It's very likely that could be done. That's very likely.
I think that has to be the logic of your view.
Yeah.
Yes, that is the logic of his view. That is exactly what the Trump argument is. And in her final comments to the Solicitor General of Oregon, who was also arguing against the tariffs today, Justice Sonia Sotomayor emphasized why the power to raise revenue through tariffs and taxes was deliberately given to Congress by the authors of the Constitution.
I think what we're forgetting here is a very fundamental point, which is the Constitution is structured so that if I'm going to be asked to pay for something as a citizen, that it's through a bill that is generated through Congress and the president has the power to veto it or not, but I'm not going to be taxed unless, so that if I'm going to be asked to pay for something as a citizen, getting here is a very fundamental point, which is the Constitution is structured so that if I'm going to be asked to pay for something as a citizen, that it's through a bill that is generated through Congress and the president has the power to veto it or not, but I'm not going to be taxed unless both houses, the executive and the legislature, have made that choice, correct?
That's exactly right.
That is exactly right, and it was a very bad day for the lame duck, Donald Trump, now the humiliated duck, Donald Trump, at the United States.
Over there sitting with a diaper, a sawed-ass diaper full of shit and piss, because he done peed all on himself and shitted all on himself. Too lazy to get up, because he mad over there having a temper tantrum in the corner. Turn around and face the corner, and don't you show your face until I say get out that damn corner. See how you got to talk to him, because he a big-ass kid. with mashed potatoes all on his head. And now he mad because everybody laughing at you, calling you mashed potato head. Your shitty ass diaper. Get the likes up, y'all.
Supreme Court.
Shitty ass. Shitty D. Who? Shitty D. Shitty D. Now what they saying over here? What you got over here? So they had a meeting today. Yeah. Trying to sell us on a big pharmacy. Instead of trying to find a way to try to trick us and manipulate us into thinking that you have our back. Yeah. And old boy and I already said ain't none of that shit safe. Y'all trying to unalive us, trying to act like y'all doing us a favor, and now you finna fake the funk like y'all finna lower something, or it's gonna be free for thee, and knowing good and dang well that we gonna have to pay for it. And then while we sitting here listening to this conference, cause I was watching it earlier, and then it just went dead. It just went dead. I said, oh Lord, what the hell? Oh, one of these people behind him done passed out. Hell, did he take the medicine that they trying to pass on us? Did he take that medicine? Why the hell he passing out? And y'all talking about medication? Huh? Y'all want us to take something, and that man tried it out, and he passed the hell out.
Has been investing in America. We've been advancing science and creating high-value jobs. But today we... Oh, are you okay? Gordon, you okay?
What?
Yeah. For nearly 150 years, my company, Eli Lilly, has been investing in America. We've been advancing science and creating high-value jobs. But today we... Oh, are you okay? Gordon, you okay? Yeah. For nearly 150 years,
did he take one of the pills?
Lilly has been investing in America. We've been advancing science and creating high-value jobs. But today we... Oh, are you okay? Gordon, you okay? Yeah.
Y'all, if he didn't take a pill, he was standing behind Trump. That funk.
For nearly 150 years,
did the funk of the DT knock him out? What is going on? What made him pass out in the Oval Office? He was standing behind the funk master. What in the hell is going on? Did he take a pill from the big pharma? I be trying to tell y'all, they be trying to take us out. We better get to those natural herbs and medicine that God created for us. You understand? Every time I start talking about them, I start getting a suspicious call. Decline. Ooh. Decline. Yeah. So was it the funk of the D of the Donnie Do, or was it the medicine? Whatever they were selling, don't y'all buy that shit? Don't y'all take that?
Eli Lilly has been investing in America. We've been advancing science and creating high-value jobs. But today we... Oh, are you okay?
No, he ain't okay. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. That may have been that shit, Donnie shit. They say he stink. Press this over, please. Look at him taking pictures. Click, 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 click. Yeah, this what I mean earlier today. I was like, well, what happened?
For nearly 150 years.
Now,
I told y'all.
He passed the hell
For
out.
nearly 150 years, my company,
Yeah.
Eli Lilly.
Eli Lilly. I need to know what medicine that was, because I don't ever, and I do mean ever, want to take that. You understand? Asbesto in the White House. What in the world? Lord, let's hear this.
These are Wisconsin cheese curds. Bite-sized legends that are golden on the outside.
They falling apart, y'all, trying to trick us.
Wow, these hearings in the United States Senate during the government shutdown this week have been absolutely explosive.
Let me see
you
what's
had
going
one hearing
on
where
with Eli
Democratic
Lilly.
senators were exposing that in the demolition of the White House East Wing, the construction workers may have been exposed to deadly asbestos. We'll talk about that. Then there was another hearing in what should have been a sleepy Senate Commerce hearing on transportation nominees, as Dan Diamond refers to it as. But then it was uncovered that a MAGA Republican senator, Bernie Moreno, was secretly spying on a Democratic senator, Jackie Rosen. He was sneaking like right outside her car to get her VIN number. And Democratic Senator Jackie Rosen was like, "Were you spying on me? You were looking at my VIN number? You went to my dashboard? Like, what the hell are you doing?" And then there was even more than that. You had a hearing where a courageous officer, a Capitol Police officer, testified before the United States Senate. And then you had these MAGA Republican witnesses all say that the individual who beat and almost killed this Capitol Police officer deserved to be pardoned. And there's even more explosive data than that and details than that. So let me go through with you what went down.
Hold up, Ben. Shout out to Ben. Oh my God, where my Atlanta people at? Where you at? Where my Atlanta people? I almost did I almost did that song. Where my people at? Where my humping people at? But today is Thursday. Is this true? Free rent and water in Atlanta till January 31st. Mayor Dickens did that. Atlanta, where you at, baby? Where you at? Did you hear that? Let me let you hear it with your good ear. Put your good ear on. Hit the like button, y'all. Atlanta, step up for the people. Shout out. If it's true, let's go.
None should go hungry or wonder how they'll feed their family. No resident, none should go hungry or wonder how they'll feed their family because of political gridlock.
Is this y'all mayor?
Earlier today, I issued an administrative order directing the following actions.
Like this besides
the Commissioner of the Department of Watershed Management will refrain from terminating the water services of any residential watershed management customer due to non-payment from today through January 31st, 2026. The Atlanta Housing Authority, Atlanta Beltline Incorporated, Fulton County, the City of Atlanta Land Bank Authority, Invest Atlanta, Partners for Home, and the City of Atlanta's Department of Grants and Community Development are called upon to institute a temporary moratorium on residential evictions and filings in city-owned, city-sponsored, and funded housing units and housing developments, also through January 31st. No resident
is this y'all mayor, Atlanta?
Hungry or wonder how they'll feed their family because of political gridlock. And therefore, earlier today, I issued an administrative order directing the following actions.
Like this besides
the Commissioner of the Department of Watershed Management will refrain from terminating the water services of any residential watershed management customer due to non-payment from today through January 31st, 2026. The Atlanta Housing Authority, Atlanta Beltline Incorporated, Fulton County, the City of Atlanta Land Bank Authority, Invest Atlanta, Partners for Home, and the City of Atlanta's Department of Grants and Community Development are called upon to institute a temporary moratorium on residential evictions and filings in city-owned, city-sponsored, and funded housing units and housing developments, also through.
Okay, so who is the cab? They're not Atlanta? Lord, that's good. I mean, folk can't eat, so they saying, yeah. Oh wow. What is the cab? What is the cab in Roxdale? What is that? If that's not Atlanta. I said where my Atlanta people at. You said here I am. Now you saying that ain't Atlanta. It's still
Nearly
good.
150 years.
Shout out to them though.
My company.
Everybody need to follow that. I mean, I ain't gonna hate. I ain't gonna hate. I almost hate it because God dang, I moved too quick. So you don't live in Atlanta. I said where my VVTT. I said where my Atlanta people. Hopefully, DeKalb and Rockdale will follow. Everywhere. While they on shutdown, they need to follow that. God dang, I moved too quick. I moved too quick. Baby, because I will take that type stuff like that. If everybody... Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Dallas Cowboy defensive end Marshawn Nealon, he took his life today. Prayers to his family. You know, I'm going to say this. I'm going to step out on a limb, you know, with everything I know now about the poisons that they are intentionally, putting in the atmosphere, in foods, intentionally, diseases and illnesses in our bodies, initiating side effects of mental illness. I'm just sad. I'm gonna say this. It breaks my heart knowing the intentional sabotage these greedy people have intentionally afflicted upon us, we the people. If it wasn't to line their pocket, it was to eliminate us on purpose. I am thankful to God that I know in my heart that he died for past, present, and future sins. I am happy to know in my heart that there is only one sin that the Bible teaches us that is not forgivable, and it is to blaspheme against the Holy Spirit. Now, I know per whatever denomination you are, you're going to disagree with me about unaliving yourself. Thank God that you are not God. Thank God that you are not God. Because if someone is intentionally afflicting you with illness and sickness that you have no idea why you're feeling this way, why you're thinking this way, and some of the medicines that you can't stop none of y'all from taking, a lot of the side effects is the same thing that's taking your own life. So again, I'm going to say for the ones who feel like that you can't enter into heaven, thank God you're not God. Because he said he came to save the world and not condemn it. And if that's how you really feel within your heart, you have a heart condition that you need to talk to God about. Absolutely, Sly. That's why we need to understand what's going on in the world. They had a whole plan. They have been erasing the facts, altering the truth all along. Okay? So when you have someone in your life that you know that's experiencing those type of thoughts, check their medicine. Don't judge them. Don't tell nobody to get over nothing that they have experienced. How dare you? How dare you tell somebody to get over something? Who do you think you are? And if you don't have a solution or can't give a spiritual without condemnation, then just keep your mouth shut and check the medicine. Okay? Now let me move on. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Condolences to his family. I would recommend them when it's all said and done and they have found some peace, check his medicine. Yeah, let's go.
Want to show you is where you have Democratic Senator Markey. He's questioning some of these witnesses at this hearing about apprenticeship programs that are offered by unions that the Trump regime is gutting. And Senator Markey uses his time to ask these apprenticeship union leaders who help with these apprenticeship programs, you know, are you aware if there was any asbestos controls or steps taken at the East Wing when they demolished it at the White House? Because they used non-union workers. So as a result, I mean, we saw these smoke clouds outside of the East Wing that look like what we normally see in very deadly and fatal asbestos exposures in the past. And we know asbestos was used in the East Wing. And in Donald Trump's rush to tear down the East Wing, what we may uncover in the future is that he exposed those workers who did not go through the steps, that the safety precautions that take place in unions, because Trump went around the unions, that Trump may have exposed those workers to very deadly asbestos exposure where those people may die early in the future. Watch this questioning, and again, you haven't seen this in many other places, and hat tip to Dan Diamond for flagging it. Here, play this clip.
LIUNA runs a world-class apprenticeship program that includes training on asbestos abatements. Many old buildings were constructed and renovated when asbestos-laden products were industry standard, including the White House.
Oh, wow.
Are you aware of any permits or other indications that the White House, that President Trump, took any of the appropriate safety steps when Trump demolished the East Wing of the White House to protect against asbestos exposure?
I'm not aware of anything that they would have done to protect.
So the White House could have exposed workers and passersby to deadly asbestos. Is that your view?
They could have, and I can tell you, had it been a union workforce, we would have access to that.
Wow.
This administration chose to use a non-union workforce to go do that on a union project. One of the first things we teach in our apprenticeship is to have your brother or your sister's back. And if you see something, you say something. If something's unsafe, you can stop that work. This isn't a union job site, so we have no access to it. So I don't know what's going on out there.
Oh, wow.
Thank you. And those safety standards, they exist for a reason. It's to protect workers. It's to protect innocent people who may be nearby, even working in the White House, from exposure to asbestos. And those standards just don't disappear on the whim of President Trump. They're there because of all the lessons we learned, especially because of asbestos workers who died at unbelievably high levels before we actually put protections in place. And that's why I wrote to the contractor who tore down the East Wing to demand answers on whether and why workers were put at risk for Trump's big donor ballroom. It's just another example of how Trump is the most anti-union president, anti-safety president in history. And
That is something that absolutely we have to get to the bottom of. I've received no answers yet in terms of any asbestos protections, any other safety protections that were put in order to ensure that workers were not unnecessarily exposed to health endangering situations. So I thank both of you for all your work on these issues. Thank you, Mr. President.
For the record, every merit shop that I've visited emphasizes and takes great pride upon their safety record. And they are subject to the same OSHA regulations as regarding maintaining safety and exposure to asbestos or anything else. So just for the record.
No, I agree with you. The question is, does the president think he can waive all regulations because it's the White House and not any other property in the United States? And if that was the case, then these workers were exposed.
Next, we'll show you the sleepy Senate Commerce hearing on transportation nominees, and it quickly devolves into a heated fight, as Dan Diamond puts it, between Jackie Rosen, Democrat, and Senator Bernie Moreno, when Moreno admits that he was tracking her team's cars and her automobile's VIN numbers. Here, play this clip.
As somebody who's been here 10 months, I think what we just saw was exactly classic Washington, D.C. In other words, the car that I drive should be safe. The car that my staff drives, who cares about them? I get a paycheck.
I object to you stalking my car and my staff to find the VIN numbers to present to this committee. Why are you doing there? What are you going to do with them? It's an invasion of our privacy. If you came and asked me for my VIN, I will tell you what I have in my car.
It's visible from the outside of the car.
So you went and followed me.
This is my time.
You went and followed me to see who drives me.
Can I reclaim my time?
And write down their VIN number. You interrupted me. You're attacking me. You watched me go to see who drives me, writing down their VIN number so you could find out what they have. That seems a little creepy.
Just to expose the hypocrisy, much like, for example,
expose the hypocrisy.
That you get paid, you get a paycheck, but you walk by, you get a paycheck.
I'm donating my paycheck, sir, and I would happily be on legislation
what do you say to them? What do you say to the staff? What do you say to the TSA workers? What do you say to the air traffic controllers?
What I am saying to you is it's the Republican shutdown, my friend. You are in control of the White House. You are in control of the House, and you are in control of the Senate. And if you went home to a food bank instead of going to Mar-a-Lago to eat at a gold-plated dinner while people are starving, you might see and hear your constituents, sir. You are blind to the suffering of your people.
She was going to say you're a cult. You're a cult.
Listening and coming to the table to have a discussion.
So it does take 60 votes.
You want to have this, come talk to me in private, sir.
Okay. So it does take 60 votes, for the record, just so that we're clear on the reporting, so that there's no misinformation. It does take 60. Back to you, Mr. Edwards. Question about airports.
How bizarre is that?
Wow.
As Arthur Delaney writes, earlier in this hearing, Bernie Moreno said he looked up all of his colleagues' VIN numbers to expose them for not buying newer vehicles with expensive safety features. Maybe a weird way of making the point is Jamie Dupree writes, to get a car's VIN number, you have to physically walk up to the car and look into the windshield. So Marino was personally going up to his colleagues' cars. How many cars? Staff cars, senator cars? He was spying on their vehicles? What the hell is going on here? Then in the Senate Judiciary Committee, here you have Democratic Senator Dick Durbin cross-examining one of Trump's federal judicial nominees about the kind of anti-abortion, anti-women, anti-reproductive rights stance. Here, play this clip.
You believe that female patients are less likely or less able to understand medical advice than male patients?
Okay, work with me.
Oh my God, what is going on?
Reach your health goals through hers? Hair loss,
Senator, I'm sorry, I'm not sure I understand your question. Could you?
Well, you said not every patient understands the consequences, and we certainly know that we're talking primarily of women of childbearing status. And you went on to say there are a number of patients who don't understand the nature of the fetus. Do you believe that female patients are less likely to understand this?
Oh, Senator, what we were saying in those arguments is we were summarizing the evidence in the record for the court. There were several witnesses who testified by sworn declaration that they wished, my recollection is they said they wished they had that information because they didn't quite understand the nature and the consequences of
didn't understand the nature of the fetus, women?
My recollection is that
Are you crazy?
The testimony in the record in those sworn declarations said that that would have been helpful information that they would have liked to have had. And I believe that also was kind of hearkening back to statements in the Supreme Court's Casey opinion, as well as perhaps Gonzalez v. Carhart.
I'm going to tell you, I don't understand what you're saying based on this
He
quote
said
here.
nothing.
And if you wish, it's your decision. If you want to clarify what you've just said in light of what I quoted, please do so, because at this point, I believe there's really a serious question as to what you were trying to say.
Senator, we were just simply making an argument based on the evidence in the record, and it was the
Your decision as to whether you want to clarify it, but at this point, I think it's going to be a problem for some of us.
What if you could always find exactly what you're looking for right away? Parking spots, holiday gifts, that phone charger that always goes missing.
An all-out assault on union clean energy jobs. In Massachusetts alone, 17 projects.
Apprenticeships. More questioning from Markey right here. Let's play it.
Donald Trump has waged an all-out assault on union clean energy jobs. In Massachusetts alone, 17 projects, $8.6 billion of investment, and almost 17,000 clean energy jobs have been axed or stalled in just 9 months. And because of Donald Trump's attacks, from canceling permits to repealing the Inflation Reduction Act tax credits, union workers are seeing job offers evaporate and work sites shutter. A port development project in Salem with hundreds of union jobs under a project labor agreement axed. A cable manufacturing plant in Somerset that would have created hundreds of union jobs axed. 3,000 good jobs from the Solar for All program that Trump cut, axed. The offshore wind projects up and down the Massachusetts coast, which were going to have thousands of union workers, putting those workers out there in a new industry, they're all in the crosshairs to be axed. So far, we have lost nationwide 158,000 clean energy jobs in just 9 months. That is an economic record. Look at that destruction. That's the most destruction that anyone's ever taken to one industry in such a brief period of time. That's Trump's record. Union building trades workers are starting to see the unemployment rolls for the first time in over a decade. It is a shameful situation, and Trump's attacks will have a chilling effect on new projects for years to come. Union apprenticeships actually require high-quality education programming, but they also required mentored on-the-job experience. And with Trump and Republicans shuttering these work sites, apprentices cannot train. So, General President Booker, how are President Trump's attacks on clean energy sector affecting your workers, including your apprentices?
It's the chaos, it's the uncertainty, it's the inability to recruit new members into it, it's the inability to have our current members who are in the system not be able to graduate the system because they don't have a job to go to. They're going to finish their current job, they're not going to have their next job. So it's just this chaos and uncertainty it's creating an environment where it's going to be very hard to bring people back into the construction industry at a time where we should be bringing people into registered apprenticeship and in the construction industry.
General President Downey, could you add your perspective to this situation as it's unfolding?
No, I would echo the same sentiments from President Booker. The one other piece I guess I would add would be that we put a lot of time, energy, effort, and resources into training to do this offshore wind work, and that all just came to a screeching halt. And so now we have a bunch of members with a bunch of credentialing that we don't know if we're going to be able to put back to work in the future.
Next, we see Senator Adam Schiff from California asking critical questions during this week's Senate Agriculture confirmation hearing. about why is the Department of Agriculture stealing people's personal private data? And are they selling it to AI companies? Are they selling it to government contractors? Are they spying on people? Why are they getting and gathering all of this data on people and creating a database and a list? Is this part of the further plan to put Americans and migrants into concentration camps that ICE and Border Patrol is doing? Here, play this clip right here.
Mr. Wilk, can you tell us what the legal authority is that USDA is relying on to collect, store, and share the personal data of tens of millions of Americans, including Social Security numbers, home addresses, simply because they received or applied for SNAP benefits?
Senator, I appreciate that question. My understanding is there were 4 requests for state data, for state recipient data. One of the requests was made in May, and so I was at FNCS. But as I recall, I had no involvement in drafting or issuing that particular request. But I was aware of what was going on. I would say I know that there is a lawsuit brought by numerous attorneys generals, and I hesitate to give my opinion in terms of what that authority might be, because that may be an issue in the case.
Mr. Walk, if confirmed, are you committed to reviewing this policy independently, objectively, to ensure that it does not violate federal privacy laws which protect Americans' personal data and identities?
Sir, I appreciate that question, and I will say that I think the collection of data itself is something that we need to look at in general. As a 24-year federal employee, I certainly understand the privacy implications, and that we have laws that protect data throughout the information life cycle, from collection to transmission to storage to disposal. And I want to make sure that as we use the data technologies, which carries promise, that we also make sure that we deploy them in a way that abides by the law.
Now, here was a moment, a very somber moment for me to even watch this, to see what even took place. You're going to see all of the Republican witnesses at this Senate hearing. So the MAGA Republicans wanted to do this like performative hearing on political violence. Say, all the violence takes place with Democrats. It's all Democrats' fault. But Democrats were pushing back at this hearing. And here you have Democratic Senator Welch examining the witnesses. Most of them, all of the Republican witnesses who were there, raise their hands when they're asked, do you support the pardons of the violent January 6th extremists by Donald Trump? The ones who killed police officers, almost killed police officers. Do you support the pardons of them? Every Republican witness raised their hand. Here, play this clip.
Everybody who was involved and convicted was pardoned. Raise your hand if you believe that those pardons were appropriate. All right, so that includes pardons for folks who were involved in attacking Officer Hodges.
Your parents have given you some amazing gifts, but what about the inherited ones? Celebrate them with Ancestry DNA, the simple test that shows your deep family roots from your mom's side and your dad's side, with some serious detail.
So they're okay with folk.
It does.
And that means...
Hold on.
And if you believe that those pardons were appropriate. All right, so that includes...
You have got to be kidding me.
And if you believe that those pardons were appropriate.
They feel like those pardons were appropriate. So it is okay for them white men to attack the Capitol and the people that were in there. So they are above the law. Violent.
All right, so that includes pardons for folks who were involved in attacking Officer Hodges. It does.
And that means that included, like, literally on that panel, the Democrats called Daniel Hodges, the D.C. police officer who courageously defended the Capitol and who was almost killed by the January 6th insurrectionists. He's sitting next to them. He almost died, this guy. And all the Republican witnesses were like, yeah, the people who attempted murder on you, that makes sense to pardon them a year after they went to jail. You know, we support Donald Trump pardoning the people who wanted to kill you. I just want you to think about that. But he persevered. Daniel Hodges gave this incredible speech. I want to share it with you during that same hearing. Here, play this clip.
I'm speaking in my personal capacity. However, I draw upon my experiences as one of the few police officers in this country who has policed both the protests and riots of 2020, as well as the insurrection of January 6, 2021. I am intimately familiar with political violence, as when I fought to defend the United States Capitol and many of your very lives, I was beaten, bloodied, crushed, with my eye gouged, and my skull smashed with my own baton. Political violence is a worthy topic for discussion. However, the press release I saw from the subcommittee chair made it clear that this was not going to be an honest consideration of various causes and effects, but rather a ham-fisted attempt to propagate the unsupported notion that liberal ideology is the greatest origin of modern political violence. This is particularly galling to me, since every single member of the majority on the subcommittee has either contributed to one of the most infamous examples of conservative political violence of our age, or the protection of its perpetrators. Every majority member who could do so voted to acquit Donald Trump during a second impeachment, and now we find ourselves in a new horrific age of political violence, one where it is carried out by the state itself. A permanent resident was arrested without a warrant and is being threatened with deportation simply for his politics. A Tennessee man was arrested and is being held on $2 million bail for sharing a Trump meme on...
y'all. I need for y'all to get the likes up. Double tap the face of your screen. If you haven't already, hit the 3 dots. It's at the top right on your laptop or computer or your tablet. Wow, this is so bizarre. But every other race are thugs, murderers, apists. This is the crazy. Come on, y'all. I got to get back to work. Listen, and they just got a new list of pedos that were arrested that are MAGA for the month of October. A whole crew. Come on, y'all, please, so I can go on. If you have a problem with double tapping or hitting the like button, can you go ahead and exit to the left, please? Go ahead and leave. Don't come back today, please. Don't come back until you feel respectful enough to double tap and hit the like button. Don't come back. Oh, even this wrestler guy. What is this? Yeah, I'm not gonna play it until y'all get my likes up.
This is how he was talking when Trump got elected in January.
So God bless the country and God bless Donald Trump. He took a bullet for us, and I promise you, if the day comes, I will take a bullet for that man. I love that man with all my heart, and I would die fighting for a battle for that man.
That was 11 months ago. This is how he's talking now.
I want to let y'all know I'm not with Donald Trump no more. I don't support him. I don't like him. I think he's a corrupted leader. And
Yeah, it took me a while to come to that conclusion, but I finally am coming to it. I do not like the guy at all. The first thing for me was he didn't release the Epstein files. They're even acting like they didn't exist. And of course, they're sending Israel and Ukraine all of our tax dollars, just like the numbnuts before him did. Putting America last. And now he's blaming the beef farmers for the price of beef. Hey, I'm not biased, man. He talked a good game. He tricked me. I was fooled. I admit it. Yeah, and I'm totally done with the dude. He's done to me. He's done. He's a goner. He's compromised. He's right up there with the rest of the pedophiles, man. He's a good actor, and he had me fooled for a long, long time.
UFC fighter Bryce Mitchell was so loyal to Trump. He said he'd take a bullet for him.
He would take a bullet for him. Okay, y'all, I'm finna go ahead and end it right here. Hold on, let me show y'all this. Y'all can't get the like button, baby. I'm not finna spend my time wasting it on y'all. Y'all must be one of them pedo lovers. Oh, I can't play that music. Y'all mad because I'm displaying the truth. Yeah. 56 of 56. 56. Look at that fat funky right there next to that bald headed, them two bald headed, looking like the Three Stooges. Look at them, 56 of them. This is not normal. It sure is not.